validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we're talking about this and that and everything in between. Today is going to be one of those interesting Saturday nights where we're going to be talking about breaking the code of dating to help guys with their success and figure out what you fellas are missing out. Now, ladies, I understand, podcast for the men, but for the same aspects, I like to be uniform about my my podcast and the things that we deliver. So I'm definitely going to be giving you ladies some advice as well to aid you in your ability to be more successful with obtaining the appropriate gentleman that you would be looking for in your dating ventures. Now, yesterday we did talk about some of the pitfalls that was coming about with dating, especially with the social media atmosphere that we have right now. But we also have some solutions to when you do make that personal connection with that individual. And we want to make sure that while you guys are coming onto the show, that you guys hit the like and subscribe button, and make sure that you also want to come onto the show. You can click that link in the comment section. You can approve the mic, approve the camera, and in doing so, it'll bring you onto the show in real time. Keep your comments appropriate. We're going to be looking for 18 and older onto the podcast. However, everyone else, like Nico, who was 17, gentleman, smart man, who was here a couple nights ago, and was on here for a good hour, giving us some logic and reason So special shout out to Nico. And but he's 17. So, while he was able to come into the comment section and provide us with some insight, I probably would have let him on. I probably would have made him an exception because I love the intellect of individuals, regardless of the age, and I would have potentially brought some of his insight onto the show. But for the most part, if you're under the age of 18, we are typically required primarily to keep you guys in the comment section. However, in our members only shows that are provided and supported by the members, because we get demonetized when YouTube has temper tantrums, we can maintain monetization under the subscription platform. So if you guys join the membership, then we can be a little bit more unhinged. We could have a little bit more catastrophic conversations, but we still do have a little bit of regulations with the community guidelines. So it is what it is, because this is a situation where we can't change the way it is. We can only utilize the tools that we have to be successful. So remember that we are live 7 nights a week at 10 o'clock. About 20 minutes ago, we started a little bit late today. We had to deal with the internet issues that we are still undergoing while rebooting the computer, because there was a massive browser update. So Windows 11 had a massive beta test browser update, and I have not had the privilege of figuring out what all it updated, but I'm in a beta. So I'm gonna let you guys know what Windows has to offer coming soon with some of the test products that they have. Likewise, I'm going to end up having to dive into a few surveys that they're going to be throwing at me as well, because, since they're throwing me into a betas typically require us to do reviews. And, I like to be on the cusp of when things go right. But that also means that somebody who's on the cusp of being the first of everything, you also are on the cusp of when things go wrong. So while I try to help my fellow colleagues, students, friends, family, and other such, you gentlemen that are on the podcast live today, special shout out to Red Void, Donnie Steffen, Reese Martinez, Max Opposer, Joe, his father, Liberty Twitcher, Silly Emma. Special shout out to you guys for showing us support on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I have not gone back to TikTok as of yet because, they haven't closed that deal yet, but we're going to be following that to see where they are coming soon. And we are still keeping track of what's going on with the California fire. And I have not yet heard positive confirmation that the fire is 100% subsided. So it is still burning somewhere in South California, but it is more regulated than it used to be. Now, I understand slash and burn. If you burn a city to the ground and rebuild it, it should be rebuilt in a better image, figuratively speaking. But since they literally burned the city down, hopefully they'll have some improvements. In the meantime, join me as I dive deep into the secrets of dating success that most guys totally overlook. And I'm going to crack the code and help you win at love. Now, dating rules have evolved significantly in recent years, reflecting change in social norms and technology, as we discussed yesterday and earlier last week. So when it comes to dating, many guys struggle to find success, and it's not because they're not trying. The truth is, most men are missing out on some crucial insight that could completely flip the script on their dating lives. Now, today we're going to explore the most common mistakes guys make when it comes to dating, and more importantly, what you can do to crack the code and start winning at love. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions is that guys have about dating would be that the dating is all about the chase. That's one of the biggest misconceptions. Typically, men fail to realize, and women also fail to realize this as well, is that the chase is typically the catch and release aspect about lust. And some people find the thrill in the chase or being chased, and the reward of the sexual intimacy after the chase uh, to be the prize of the chase. That is not going to get you a long-term, long-lasting relationship. A lot of people believe that involving in the chase is the mind tricks and manipulation and player style game that is supposed to be played. Matters of the Heart is not a game. It is a struggle consistent with the observations of potential military tactics to secure the emotional security of yourself while obtaining um, the physical connection and emotional connection from someone else. So they think that if they can just convince a girl to go out with them, that they've won in some of these scenarios. But the truth is, dating is not a competition, it's about connection. You also have to understand that if you have the mindset that if you get the girl to go out on the date with you, the only thing you might have quote unquote won would be the first date. Convincing her to go out with you does not win you a lifetime companion, a partner that's going to be down for the get down, the one that accepts your flaws and protects your weaknesses while respecting your strengths and adhering to your support. We're looking for the wrong things when we have that mindset of I get to take her out on that first date. I won, because you have to remember that that first date is at your expense. So what else? What did you win besides the bill? You put all this extra effort into convincing someone to allow you to spend money on them. That's not a win. Okay, so fellas, we got to change that mindset. But when you start thinking about how it is about finding someone who truly resonates with you and building a meaningful relationship, you will start realizing a little bit of a different dynamic. And you'll also come to understand that another common mistake is that guys often try to be someone they're not. Now, I understand ladies do this a lot more than men do, because I mean, the most that a guy can do is lie about his career choice and put on a different outfit. I mean, women go the extra mile. Their hair is not their real hair. It's not their real hair length. It's not their real skin complexion, because they can put on enough makeup to make themselves lighter, darker. They can look like a minority, not look like a minority. They can modify their figure by adding apparel that can emphasize or uh, take attention away from certain characteristics of their body style and body traits. They modify their height. Like, everything about them is ungenuine, unauthentic on first encounter, and outside of their voice, which is very rarely modifiable. The fact is, there's nothing else about them is 100% genuine until they start taking all that stuff off after they've gotten comfortable in the relationship, or the morning after kind of scenario. You know, even the colored contacts, you can't even tell if that's their real eye color. So we have to recognize that men do not come genuine a lot of the times in the chase mentality, but women by default very rarely come natural. And I think men who are determined to not be unsatisfied in their relationship and ultimately have more motivation to cheat are preferring more women that are natural, because if I fall for who you really are, then on your worst day, I am always going to want you. But if I fall for who you pretend to be on your best day, when your worst day comes around, I might not be attracted to that. And if your worst day starts becoming the standard norm because you don't feel like bringing your best self to the table anymore, then I have to settle for less than what I was misled to believe was the standard norm. Now, ladies, you just have to take that into consideration. While I understand a little bit of foundation is tradition for you girls, you kind of got to navigate yourselves more towards being who you are to the fullest extent that you can be, and just see what people do around you. uh we also noticed that men think that they need to put on a certain persona or pretend to have certain interests just to impress a girl. And that's not true. You ask her what she likes, she says it, and you're like, oh, me too. Nah, nah. And then you're only saying that so that you can go out on a date. And a lot of the times, the men that are doing that on the date are doing that with the expectations that we have so much in common that sex occurs after the date. And truth be told, y'all don't have those same interests. And that type of misconception will lead you to being in the type of relationship where now you have to entertain things that you don't like because you told her that you did in order to establish a connection with the woman. And this approach always backfires because it's built on a foundation of dishonesty. So ladies, this misconception of not bringing your best self to the table is always going to backfire the same way this misconception of not bringing your genuine self to the table as men will backfire in the long run, because the foundation of the relationship is built on dishonesty. We need to remember one of the biggest mistakes that we make as men is getting ahead of ourselves. You don't want to fantasize about a future before truly knowing the person, which also means that you don't want to put so much effort into trying to impress somebody that you don't know if you like, because you are trying so hard just to have sex with that person that you forget that outside of the bedroom, you may not even be interested in that person. So you don't want to fantasize about a future with somebody that you have not truly gotten to know. Like me and Nico was talking about a couple days ago, certain women that don't put in that much effort into the relationship to be considered genuinely a part of the relationship typically fall into the category of a random chick that you're just associating with for an extended period of time that really hasn't invested enough into you as a person for her to be so valuable to you as a person for you to put up your entire estate for the sake of her entertainment and personal pleasure. Unfortunately, in the past, we have had a large quantity of men that have put in a lot of Ruderus. Good to see you early into the show tonight. What's going on with you tonight? Enjoying your weekend, I hope. We got Valentine's Day coming up in a couple of weeks. Do you have a Valentine that you're going to be looking into? We should actually try to piece together a Valentine's Day show. We have not acquired statistics around one of those. But more to the point, we should probably talk about what economically sound Valentine's Day venture should look like, since it's going to be about 13 days after today. So we're going to be trying to figure that part out. As Ruderus gives us a little bit of a yep, that's good. So who you giving chocolates to? You got a special someone you want to shout out besides mom? She got a gamer tag. Oh yeah, I did download the game too. As a matter of fact, now that I think about it, I had downloaded it yesterday while you and I were talking about it. Had to do an update on it, and then we got to log back in and throw you a. I gotta see which one was that, and then throw you a request. You don't have no one? Oh man. Well, you should definitely try to consider you know, trying to go out there and take a look and see if you can tic-tac-toe your way into a pretty good relationship. Because me myself, I know for a fact that it's always fun, it's always entertaining to get in there and go do the chocolates and ice cream and get a lot of oh, it's asking me all kinds of stuff. Hold on. I think this isn't the one that we had the friends list on. It is not. I'm gonna log into the other one later, and then I will get back in touch with sending you those connections. We're gonna have a game going coming soon. But yeah, you should always look into trying to navigate yourself into a conversation with a specific individual. Have you haven't? You would try? Well, I mean, have you? Is there anybody in your class or somebody in your school that you probably be interested in? You know, bringing a box of chocolates to? Because I mean, that would be the dynamic. Let me see if I log out and log into the other account, because I know that there's like 3 different accounts that I have under my name here as you answer that question. So let me see. We're going to go to profiles. Nope. And then sign in. Don't worry, we're going to continue on with the show in just a second. It is. Yeah, I know. I do like someone in my class. There you go. All right. So there's somebody in the class. So this is what we can do. Because you're not trying to be overly expensive about it. It's like a $5 or $10. Not even $10 is too much at your age. It's like $3 to $5. It's like small little heart-shaped candy box that's like maybe 3 to 5 pieces of candy in it. Should cost you $2 or $3, and a Hallmark card that limitedly says that you think she's special in some way, shape, or form. Should cost you all of $8 total. And then in that card, you want to leave her a not too overwhelming message that you have, for the most part, had an interest in getting to know her more and would like for her to, how would I put that? Communicate an appropriate response. We'll filter that out in another show, but entertain the fact that you would like to get to know her better, and then, see where that takes you with that box of chocolates. Now, the one thing I am going to tell you as a man is that if you're trying to reach out to a female, what you want to do is you want to be discreet about it. So you want to be able to hand her the card and the box of chocolates in passing, where she's not around her friends. So if you have to break her away from her friends, you just say, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? I just have something important I want to tell you. And then she'll walk away, and then you can hand her the box and say, hey, this is for you. I'll talk to you about it later. And then go to class, kind of thing. Little subtle approach, because the entire message that you wanted to express to her should be written on the card. And then you should be able to find yourself in a scenario where if she felt the same, she should be able to respond somewhat quickly. You could also go so far as to leave your cell phone number on there for her to send you a text message. Or if you don't feel comfortable with putting your number on there, you could put your social media handle on there so that she can connect to, because the next generation, everybody's doing their Snapchat and Instagram and, all that other stuff. And then y'all would be able to do that back and forward. He says, actually, I don't want to get into these before I graduate. I actually want but parents. Well, so you don't want to get into these before you graduate. You're not trying to get into one of those involvements, one of those situationships before you go to college, but your parents are going to put you in that situation. I got to tell you, I know that, your parents are always going to push for you to be successful. They're going to tell you that no girl is good for you. And it is true that relationships can be a distraction. However, loneliness can be a distraction as well. Therefore, it does make sense for you to reasonably find an individual that actually has the same goals and ambitions as you, which is what we've been talking about on the show lately, for you guys to be able to head in the same direction. Like, for example, one of my students, he's dating a girl right now. He's in high school, and she was in a situation with him that was distracting him from his classes. I told him honestly, if she really cares about you, she would prioritize your success with your education, and because you're trying to make something out of yourself. And if she doesn't prioritize your education, you should break up with her. Long story short, she came to class with him the last couple days out of this week, where they're both studying the same topics, math, sciences, and other such, where they're not in the exact same class, but on the same grade level, and they're studying the same stuff. So now him and his girlfriend attend my class because she's focusing on his success. So they can still be around each other and share their personal interests, but they also are working together towards their success. So the things that he doesn't understand, when I'm explaining it to him, she'll explain it to him in a different language to help him better understand it. And the things that he understands that she doesn't understand, he can explain it to her, and then I explain it to both of them when neither one of them gets it, and it kind of helps them both be a little bit more successful. So you can find a person that you kind of fancy a little bit, and then you'll be able to establish a emotional connection that doesn't distract you too much from your goals. You just have to make sure that you're not all about impressing the other person. You just want them to understand that you kind of think that they're a little bit awesome, and you kind of want to see where this could go, but you really want them to kind of come and voluntarily get to know you, as opposed to you putting forth time and effort and money into convincing them to hover in your presence, which is the age-old custom that men have had, is to convince women to hover in the man's presence at the expense of the man, so that the man can convince the woman to stay. That's the wrong move. If she is interested in you, she will hover in your presence, and you will get to know her while she is there. If you come to continue to like her for an extended period of time, then at that point you'll start investing in her. But in the meantime, I'm not going to say that a small gift here and there to show somebody that they're important is not good. I am going to say that spending a bunch of money to convince a girl to go out with you is horrible, because they're going to expect you to keep doing that. But nevertheless, if you let her know that you do have that interest, you can kind of get it to be like a high school sweetheart kind of thing, where you guys kind of prioritize each other's goals and ambitions. Y'all might end up in the same college. You never know. Rudo says, yeah, they would choose a girl for marriage, but love marriage is better, I guess, dude. Yeah, look, if you're in one of those families where betrothed marriages is going to be a thing, you can still get you a buddy, that a female friend that you can communicate with, that you still fancy, and somebody, because I mean, if you're staring at her from across the room, one, it's awkward, and two, you're still distracted. If you guys are in the same place at the same time, working towards the same goals, you are happy that the two of you are focused on this activity that you're working on, and you get to participate in this activity with the person that you want to be with. So even though the activity, it might be a little bit stressful or boring or frustrating, it is a more enjoyable moment because you're with the person that you want to be with. So just take that into consideration. It's not about trying to find in high school and before high school, it's not about trying to find the woman that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. It's about not preventing yourself from expressing the fact that you do have interest in somebody else. Because one thing I can tell you, Ruderus, is that the older you get, the harder it will be for you to have the confidence as a man to tell a woman that she is important to you. And typically that's going to be built around the constant rejection that men get. In addition to, there are times where women will deliberately embarrass the guy because he expresses genuine interest in her. So it is important for you to have that confidence start off at a younger age, to be able to say, hey, I've got what I got what I want to say out, and I'm good to go with that. He says, got a good grip friend with who is a girl but not girlfriend. I know she likes to talk to me, but I am bounded. Oh, but that's not the girl that you're interested in, though. If that's not the girl that you're interested in, you're close. You got a girl that's interested in you, which they say love who loves you. So if you've got a friend that's interested in you, it's not as hard to make that type of friendship relationship work. And the best long-term relationships are built off of a long-term friendship. So you could always ride that wave, but just think about it. If you got that extra person, oh, you are interested in her. Oh, okay. So if that's the one, then you've already crossed like 18 bridges, little box of chocolate, and you're awesome. That's it. You don't even need to get her a Valentine's Day card. You could just get a blank piece of paper that says you're awesome, and that's it. It keeps you with somewhat of an appropriate friendship level, celebrates the holiday, but lets her know that she's important, especially if you get her the kind of chocolate that she likes. And women love chocolate. Some girls say they don't like chocolate, but they like brownies, they like fudge, they like gingerbread cookies, chocolate chips. You know, get her a nice little snack. And even still, you could do that. You could get her a nice little snack, like $1 or $2 snack, whatever her favorite snack is. Mine used to be Rice Krispie treats, and you get her a little snack and get her a little card and say that you're awesome, or just get her a little snack. If she likes candy bars, like a Butterfinger or something, grab her 2 or 3 of them, and then pass by and hand it to her for Valentine's Day, and just tell her, you're awesome, and hand her the candy bars. That's it. It speaks volumes. You know what I'm saying? Getting them something that they like, that they know that they like, that they didn't know that you knew that they like, that's it. That's it. You didn't even got to go overboard with it. 1 or 2 of them. If you like the same thing she likes, you can get 3 of them where you keep 1 and she gets 2, and that's it. And if it's like $1 a candy bar, like 3 candy bars, that's like $4 with taxes. It's again under $5, but you can still show her that she's important to you. So take that as we move on. I'm always here for the advice when we're on this and that, talking about this, that, and everything in between, because I to be honest with you, when you're in a positive relationship, you're actually more successful everywhere else. So having a good friend, a good companion and partner that can help you stay motivated and stay on track keeps you from burning out as fast. It also gives you motivation and drive to be more successful. So people who are successful in their personal lives are more successful in business, and people who are successful in business can find success in their personal lives. But one thing as men we have not mastered is finding that work-life balance. And that's one of the things that we need to try to navigate on a case-by-case basis, how much work we need to put into to survive versus how much time we have left over to value the people that we're doing all this work for. And that's one of the reasons why Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday we're talking about business and finance and ways to make more money, so that we can reach a point where we can work less, which gives us more time to spend time with the people that we care about, and more so the people that care about us, because it's not just about us giving ourselves to somebody else. It's about us recognizing the people that value us and appreciate us and put us on a pedestal. So that's one of the reasons why I took a sidebar to go ahead and address that. Rudra says, thank you. I know, but if my parents get to know what I have, they would beat the shit out of me, bro. So, hey, no, look, this is the thing. That's why I told you like $3 to $5, because that's like snack money. That's like allowance money. That's like school lunch money kind of thing. And if you just like couple candy bars, your parents are going to think that was for you. And then you go to school with it, and then you slide it to your homie and just tell that person that they're important. It's like a one-time this month kind of thing, just doing it on a specific day to recognize the fact that they're important. Your parents don't know what's going on because your behavior patterns have not changed, and you're able to still recognize the other person, so you can keep this romance under wraps until you feel confident with letting your parents know how important this person is. But the more dominant that the person becomes in your life, where you're always seen with them, going places with them, doing things with them, setting up engagements with them, whether it's school projects, fairs, school trips, stuff to that effect, they're going to know that person should be important to you because you guys are always around one another. And parents typically try to partner up. Now, if they don't like the girl, I mean, there's nothing that we can do about that, but whatever. Uh, he says, thanks for all your advice, bro. Means a lot, dude. Good to see you as well. Hey, it's always my pleasure. He says, my friend will call and inform my parents that you gave her chocolates. Come on, bro. Come on. Well, I'll take that bullet. It's worth it to go to tell your friend that these are for you, and it's just a couple of candy bars. It's like $3. I doubt that she's going to make that big of a deal that she's going to call mom and dad and tell mom and dad that you gave her chocolates. But if she did, because it's like one or two little candy bars that is your friend's favorite brand, and your parents ask you about it, you remind your parents that your parents told you to share. Now, you're not buying her a whole box of candy. That's too much. One little candy bar or one little bag of chips or something like that. That's her favorite, whatever. That's like $1 to $3 at the most. It is not going to kill you because every friendship, even bros, when you and your homeboys, you will buy your homeboy snack. You'll buy enough for you and your friend a lot of the times and share with them because they will buy enough for them and you, and they will share with you. You just don't have to tell them about it. They're so jealous. Of course, parents, my baby's growing up. They're gonna have that. They don't want you to leave the nest kind of thing. I know that. I know that. But you got to spread those wings and fly, bro. You're almost in college. You can't shy away from being a man forever. He says, there's always a girl everyone wants to be partner with. Oh yeah. Well, statistically, there are more young men than there are young women in the younger ages, but there are more women than there are men as you get older. Typically because women outlive men, because typically men, on top of their reckless behavior, sacrifice themselves for the sake of society, whether it is for their career choice or for relationships or natural disasters. So men don't live as long as women. So the older you get, the more often you have accessibility to a larger foundation of women. It's just the fact that the older that the women get, the more psychologically and emotionally damaged they are. And there's a lot more baggage and trauma that you have to deal with the older that they get. In the younger ages, if you can find one and stick with one that hasn't been damaged yet, and you don't damage her, that will be a more healthy relationship for the two of you than the type of relationship where she has had multiple failed relationships and now she is taking out her fears of repeat offender out on you. So you will understand that, yeah, there's plenty of women on the face of the earth because, I mean, there's like 8 billion people on the planet and around about 50% of them are prone to be women at various ages, depending on what country. Oh, she don't like them. She don't like your parents? Well, smart. So, there's always going to be girls around, but you yourself, you pick the one, you stick with that one for as long as you can. That's what I can tell you on that. Because if you stick with that one for as long as you can, that first one is always going to be the best one. And then all the ones after that subsequently are usually going to be the ones that you're going to be learning from mistakes with the rest of them. I'm going to be honest with you. The first one that a guy invests in, when they're serious investing in it, that one is usually the best one and the worst one, because if she's not investing in him, it's going to be catastrophic. But if they're investing in each other, that is going to be like the longest relationship that you have, because after her, that's when you're going to start having like negative rebound relationships. You're going to start taking advice from your homeboys that's going to be telling you about going and hooking up with this one chick. You're going to end up in college where you're going to be trying to do what the other guys do and try to stack up a body count. You know, there's all of these other things that are going to happen. And then after you finish with college, that's when you're going to start trying to look for, and you're going to be like 24, 25 years old, 28 years old. You're going to start trying to look for that companion. But in your early years, from like 16, 17, 18 years old until like 24, 25, 26 years old, that range, when you're finding somebody in your age group, that's the last age group of girls that are going to cooperate with boys, period. By the time they're 24, 25 years old, they are either conditioned to follow your lead and cooperate with you, and y'all work towards success where you're prioritizing her goals and she's prioritizing your goals. Or by 24, 25 years old, she's selfish because she's been corrupted by a society where she's dated a bunch of selfish men. Now she's selfish. Now you are trying to cater to her. She's catering to herself. You are always left out. And from dating at 25 to dating at 40, I promise you, you are going to have a harder way to go. You would do better getting that betrothed marriage where y'all just learn to love each other than trying to find that person down the line. Yeah, see, your parents is telling you that. Yeah. So when you do an arranged marriage, but see, the problem with an arranged marriage is that unless you're in a culture where divorce is frowned upon in your society, the marriage ain't gonna last. And then you're also going to be dealing with infidelity because she's not going to treat you right. And women have this fascinating capability of giving their body to duty and giving their heart to another man. So she's there because she has to be, but she's not there because she wants to be. So I explicitly expect he said mistakenly retroacted. Yeah, you're right. No, it's fine. But no, the thing is that the issue is that if you're not finding you married, dude, why do I have to be married to tell him how the dating game is? I'm not giving him advice about married life. I'm explaining to him how the dating and being able to have been in the dating realm for as long as I've been in the dating realm. I can tell him that by a certain age, yeah, it does become a little bit more challenging. And yeah, I have had the ability to date. What is your point behind the line of questioning? Because I mean, I actually still have a gigantic catalog of information to put out here when it comes down to dating. I was just telling a buddy of mine real quick some tips and tricks as to how he could kind of get a leg up on self-expression since he has somebody that he fancies, and the subtle ways to express that appreciation and that validation to that person without overstating it and not being wasteful. A troll. I love this. You doubt that the advice is coming from experience. Okay. Well, I completely understand that. However, you're not here to get advice. You're here to troll the advice. So in order for you to troll the advice, hang out, make sure you like and subscribe. You'll be able to listen to some more advice, and then you could be able to tell me exactly how wrong I am. Because truthfully, let's be honest, with his situation, he's got obligations. He has somebody he fancies. I tell him, something simple. Get them their favorite treat, something cheap, couple dollars. Give it to them. Let them know that you appreciate it. And that's pretty much it. You're validating their existence. They're hovering around you already. You don't have to put a bunch of effort into the scenario. You can get to know this person over the long term. You guys are primarily friends. You can turn that into something over time while still focusing on your goals. And if you two are focusing on goals together, you would be able to you guys would be able to make something out of it. That's what I say. Because and I'm telling him now, because at a younger age, if he's locking it in at a younger age now, then he's got a lifetime partner. That's what I'm trying to get him to understand. Because furthermore, if you wait later, and Ruderus, this is one of the things that I want to make sure that you understand. Later in life, and DJP can cross-check this later in life when you're dealing with the ones that have been involved in toxic experiences, because the older that you get, the older they must be. That's going to put you in a position where we start doing this mathematical equation where you're dating a girl that's half your age plus 7. So when you're in your 40s, you're dating a girl that's 27. That's going to be the last time they cooperate with you. When you're 30, what is that, 22? That's still the first half of 20-year-olds. By the time you get to 60, you don't give a shit. That's when you're in a position where you take whatever's there when you're 60, 70, 80 years old. But as long as you are in that age range and mindset of the type of man that wants to start a family and be successful with their partner, you're looking for a woman that not only is capable of having children, but is willing to cooperate with you. And you're going to be able to find one, if not the other, because the older they get, the more children they already have and less desire to have more children. And the older they get, the less willingness they are to cooperate with the man, where they expect the men to cooperate with them and follow their lead. But they want a man that's masculine and a leader and assertive. But you can't have both sides, because she can't have a leader that's masculine and assertive and she's not willing to follow instructions. She can't have a man that's confident about what he wants and she doesn't want to be told what to do. You can't have a person that's not interested in having children to say, I want to start a family with you, because she doesn't want that. So if you're both on the same phases and you guys are working together at a younger age, you guys would be able to lock in a longer friendship, which will build a more stable foundation for a stronger romantic relationship later in life, where you don't have to have that betrothed marriage that doesn't really work out for you. That's one of the things that I was talking about. So DJ, make sure that you critique that real quick. Now, Ruderus says, I see you, dude. Let's see. I would try to convince my parents and hope my parents to react the best. Thanks, bro. You are welcome, man. I hope that it works out for you. And if it don't, keep it a secret. Just slide her a Snickers bar and tell her she's awesome. And that be the full totality of holding it down with a friend. As we slide into the next point, while DJ is supposed to be trying to critique the advice we have here. We were talking about not fantasizing about the future in the first contact with the person. The next step is to stay present and focus on your current moments. You want to avoid making premature assumptions about the relationship. And that's going to require communication, where you guys are going to talk about where you guys are with your understanding of each other's engagements. You will be able to let them know subtly that they're very important to you. You don't want to just come straight out and tell somebody that you love them, because these days, I love you is an uncomfortable phrase for people to hear, because people are not emotionally intelligent enough to receive that type of knowledge. So that typically deters a lot, especially if you do it early on in a relationship. So letting them know that they're very important to you, and then letting them know that you prioritize them because they matter to you, is the closest thing to saying I love you without actually saying I love you. And then let them reciprocate with something equal to or greater than that particular type of declaration, which still gives you the ability to retract if they don't feel the same, while they at least feel appreciated that you validate their existence without going too far. Now, DJ, make sure that you critique that. There are some texting pitfalls with the dating realm. You want to avoid excessive texting early on. The thing is that, like, if you guys are already friends, then yeah, text back and forth. However, you guys text back and forth. But he says, no, don't play chicken with I love you. See, exactly. So that's weak. Don't play chicken with I love you. All right. So what is your expectations then? Because first of all, what is your timeline with telling somebody that you love them? Within the first couple of days, the first couple of weeks, the first couple of years? What's your timeline? Everybody has a different timeline. Some people say that you got to wait a few months. Some people say that they can do it inside of a few weeks. Some people say that it takes years to know. But letting somebody know that they're important to you while you still decide whether or not that level of importance is to the magnitude of validating it with the word love does not in any way, shape, or form uh, retract or devalue your feeling for them. But if you put your heart on your sleeve and you just run out there and just do this confession of love to the person within the first few days or the first couple weeks, and they're not feeling that, you're still going to have to retract your advancements. The only difference is that at this point, it's not me, it's you. They're going to put you in a friend zone if you're not already there. And then your whatever you guys had is now awkward because you've done this full-on confession of love, which I said is not the smartest way to go. So he's saying you should be okay with gradually getting there. Just be honest. Honesty is a key. So you just said exactly what I just said, gradually getting there, and gradually getting there, letting them know that they're important to you, letting them know that you prioritize them because of how much they are important to you is a way of letting them know that you do care about them to the magnitude that could be perceived as love without actually going over there telling them that you love them, and allow them to take it a little bit further. And a lot of the times you could allow them to be the first person to say that. You know, you don't have to be the first person to profess love in the relationship. And there isn't a standard where the person who says it first is better off than the person who says it second. It is a huge issue that if the person who says it first doesn't get that reciprocation, that's when you start having problems in your engagements. But that is the fact that if you do it too soon, the other person hasn't gotten that far yet. You guys are not able to be on the same page when y'all do that profession. So he says feelings can be overwhelming or underwhelming. So honesty will keep both people in the appropriate lanes. But you also have to understand that while honesty, I have said before, is one of the key characteristics of a successful relationship, you have to understand that doing too much too soon is what's overwhelming. So being honest about the fact that you have a strong attachment to that person is being honest about your strong attachment to the person without having to come out there with the boombox standing outside their bedroom window singing love songs in the middle of the night, waking up the neighbors. There is a right and wrong way of telling somebody that you fancy them. There is an appropriate and inappropriate way to break the ice of recognizing that you are more than attracted to this person, that there's more there than just a perceivable lustful connection. The older you get, the more lust dominates first contact, but deep down, there is in some situations an emotional attraction to the other person that develops more quickly with men than with women. And if the man is going to profess his feelings before the woman can navigate through her feelings, then she will already be overwhelmed because she has not been able to figure out how she feels about the situation. And now she knows that you're like 100% in, which is too much. So when I say baby steps, you say that's weak. And then you say gradually. You got to keep up. So moving on, I was saying don't play texting games like intentionally waiting to respond. Keep text conversations short and genuine. You want to make sure that you're texting naturally as you would with any other person. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to red flags and standards. Oh, you're saying don't play chicken. Well, the thing is that when it comes down to not playing chicken, if you know that you know that you know, the only thing that's left to do now is tell the other person. That's the moment that you're playing chicken, because if they don't agree and reciprocate, your engagements are dead from that point forward, because you have two choices now. You are either going to stay in the friend zone and recognize the fact that you are going to continue engaging a person that does not reciprocate your feelings, or that person is going to reject you outright. You're going to walk away from the situation because you're not going to be able to emotionally withstand constant rejection of your emotional advancements. Up until you play chicken with professing your feelings full on, you have the false perception that this person can potentially reciprocate in the future. But once you put it out there, they're either going to call or fold. That's it. They can't raise you with an I love you more. You love them, they love you too. You love them, I'm out of here. That's your two results. But I value you a lot. You're the most important person I have in my group right now. I prioritize you over other people because of how much I value you or appreciate you or think about you or feel about you. These are ways that you're putting the bet down. And she can call that bet and say, yeah, I value you too. I appreciate you too. I prioritize you too. Or she could raise that bet and say, you know what? I love you more than you know. But if you're going all in with that love phrase, yeah, you'll destroy a good thing before it can get there. Now, I want to make sure that you guys understand that you do not justify or ignore red flags. If you guys have non-negotiable expectations for behavior, I want to make sure that you guys recognize that you stand on those non-negotiable expectations for behavior. You guys want to set a precedent of what you expect from your partner, what you expect to provide to your partner, but also what you're expecting to get out of them, behavior-wise, recognition-wise, validation-wise, confirmation-wise. You want to know what's going on. If you start seeing things that does not mesh with what you would expect, there are certain red flags that are going to be considered deal breakers, and you are not going to allow that to continue. First time it happens, you have to have the ability to say this is not going to continue. You have to be willing to walk away if something doesn't feel right. You can't just stay in it because you might get laid. You can't just stay in it because you guys are frequent friends with benefits. You have to understand that if this is not good for you, they're not going to prioritize you. They don't care if you're satisfied in this situation. You have to prioritize yourself. When this is not good for you, you have to know how to back out of this situation if you cannot get change in your favor. Maintaining your standards without being overly picky is the expectation. Now, with these non-negotiable expectations, you have emotional and physical boundaries where you don't rush physical intimacy. You want to wait until you're on the same page about the dating goals. You want to ensure emotional connections that matches the physical connection, and not get it when it comes to when you're having situations when you're not getting what the women have to offer you. How do I put this? You're not picking up the hints. You want to make sure that you avoid that particular situation. So with this, if you're ensuring that the emotional connection matches the physical connection, even when you're not getting those confirmation cues and hints from the females, you are able to get clarity by having open, concise communication with them, which also will aid you in your ability to be more successful. You want to remember that failing to provide presence and stability can damage your position, and underestimating the importance of the emotional connection can also damage your position. Now, when we're focusing on the mindset and expectations of your interactions and relationships, you want to make sure that you don't put too much pressure on the outcome of each engagement, of each date. You want to avoid comparing this relationship or this date to past ones. You want to be authentic and show your true self from the beginning. You also want to make sure that you're standing on your core expectations from the beginning, because the later on in a relationship that things go, the harder it is you get people to change. Because if you allowed it to happen, the first portion of the relationship, the second portion of the relationship, they're going to justify being allowed to continue doing it because you didn't complain about it in the beginning. So if you put your foot down from the beginning and say that these things cannot happen in my presence, they will understand that that will not happen if they're going to continue to associate with you. Now, treating dates like job interviews. Fellas, we are not going to be treating a date like we are the one being interviewed. We are not the one being interviewed. We are interviewing her to determine if we like her, if we are interested in her, if we are willing to move forward with her. So this isn't a situation where we're focusing too much on impressing her rather than connecting with her. You guys want to make sure that you are not being overly focused on the expectations of sex early on, because you will miss out on the recognition of the red flags in a relationship in the beginning that could be catastrophic down the line. Trying to buy affection with gifts and expensive dates is a complete epic failure. Just like I was telling Ruderus earlier today, instead of going out there and buying a $200 box of chocolates or anything to that effect, it's just like $3 to $5. If you go out there, her favorite candy bar, favorite snack, you go and grab that, bring it to her, tell her that she's important. That's it. You ain't got to carry it beyond that. If she's going to take that and advance it, then that's fine. If she's going to accept it and appreciate it, that's fine too. If she disregards it, you haven't put enough into it for you to have to charge it to the game. Pretending that you're something that you're not is also going to be a failure. So acting like a nice guy when you're really a dick, that doesn't work. It is in your best interest to always be genuine. If you are a good person, be a good person. Don't try to pretend like you're the cool kid if you're a nerd. Don't try to pretend like you're smart if you're not smart. Don't try to pretend like you're like Casanova when you are a hopeless romantic, and every romantic gesture that you attempt to do fails, and it's the thought that counts out of your failed attempts with being romantic that is more appreciated than the success of your romantic gestures. And then don't overly stress out about your attempts with romantic gestures, because if it is understood that you tried, then that's really all that it takes. The fact that the outcome wasn't what you expected is not so much as important as she is appreciative of the effort. As long as she recognizes the effort and appreciates the effort, you should not be personally stressed out with yourself that the outcome wasn't what you wanted. You were hoping for rainbow hearts and marching band and helicopter overhead with the smoke machine and all of this stuff, and all you got was a handful of half inflated balloons, a couple of half dead doves, and 3 people showed up holding the wrong signs. The fact is that you tried. She appreciates the effort. It doesn't matter after that. It's the memories that you guys build with one another that is more important than the success of the activity that you're trying to do. Remember, seeking constant approval from the date is also a sign of a lack of confidence. So you have to understand that if you're always asking her, do you like the date? Is everything okay? Can I change the date in any way, shape, or form? No, I didn't do this to entertain you. I did this because I thought this would be a good way for us to get to know each other. I don't really give a shit if you are entertained by it. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. Next time I'll do something different. Or, hey, egalitarian society, you do something next time if you're interested in me, but this wasn't the activity that you preferred to do. But consistently trying to get approval from her about the success of the date as the date is happening, that's not a good thing. Now, yes, you can do reviews. After the date is over, in between the last date and the next date, you can talk to her about the last date to find out if there was anything about the last date that she didn't like, or if there was anything about the last date that she remembered that she would like to see happen in a future encounter. And this peer review type of scenario gives you the ability to learn from your efforts and then improve, while also being able to laugh about the bloopers when you tried and failed. And these are memorable moments that you guys can laugh about and build a stronger connection on. Now, communication mistakes has always been a situation where DJP has also said being honest and open with communication is a good thing. So remember, don't talk excessively about yourself, because you're trying to get to know who she is. So it's more about trying to get her to express who she is and what she's got going on. You want to avoid discussing past relationships, because no matter how long you have been dating this girl, if you start talking about women before her, she will start flipping out like you're still dating these women right now. I don't understand what it is with female insecurity, but if she comes to find out that she's not the only person that's ever been in your life, she starts dealing with a whole level of insecurity. And ladies, y'all have to stop doing that. If you want to understand what this man's past is like, you are not trying to compare yourself to his past. You're not trying to compare yourself to how he treats other people, other women. Never, ever, ladies, never, ever, ever make this mistake of telling a man, oh, you do this with all the girls. I tell you what, fellas, if a woman ever makes that statement, that is the end of y'all's engagements for the rest of y'all life. It's like, nope, I am out. You can leave, because you are not comparing your past to your present, because that will destroy your future. She should never make the comment that you in some way, shape, or form are treating her like every other person. But you have to understand also, the older you get, the more likelihood of you repeating certain efforts of affection that you have done in the past. I said this yesterday. If you have certain nuanced styles, certain types of gifts that you get. When you fancy a person, these are certain things that you do. There are certain things that she does. And let's be honest, very rarely are you going to come across a scenario where you haven't done something similar to this for somebody else to show them that they matter to you. The English language is so large, but the most common words that we use them all the time. So there's only so many ways that you can tell somebody else or express to somebody else verbally or through words that they're important to you. So there's going to come a time where a phrase or a statement or something to that effect will be restated in a future relationship. All that shows is that the way you feel right now is the way that you felt back then. And yeah, you are going to have a level of attachment to more than one person. That's the same level of attachment over a lifetime, because you can technically truly fall in love 150 times in a lifetime. Now, depending on how long that lifetime is, depends on whether or not that's 10 or 12 times a year or less. But the fact is, you can only be deeply in love with one person at a time. So you got to fall out of love in order to fall into love with somebody else. All this falling, you're going to have to start grabbing you some pads. Now, as DJ said, you guys got to be genuine about your interest in getting to know the other person. Asking inappropriate questions is definitely going to be a fail, especially on the first date. And what are inappropriate questions? Well, appropriate questions is finding out what their goals, ambitions, and drives are, and relationship goals going forward. Inappropriate conversations is asking about their sex life outside of asking about their body count. But again, fellas, the older she gets, the larger her body count's going to be. So your primary question, that's an appropriate question, is does she have other financial obligations like children? If she's got children, her body count is pretty decently high. Some people are going to say, no, that's not true. She's probably got her first love could be her baby daddy. Right. Let's be honest, guys. The statistical average, sexually active individuals typically have quite a few sex partners, either before or after the creation of children. So if they're not in a marriage or a committed relationship for an extended period of time, that is the result of that child, odds are either they were highly active before the kid or highly active after the kid, but they've got a pretty decent body count. You can understand that for every kid, there's probably 5 to 10 bodies on that person, if not more. So you're not going to fall on the falsehood that she's got a child and she's a Virgin Mary. It's not going to happen. However, if she currently holds no children, you can assume that there's a likelihood that she's not as detached physically from her emotional state, because you have some women that, again, I said earlier in the show, that can put their heart in the hands of one man and put her body in the hands of another. So we want to not be in that type of relationship because those don't always end well for us. But if you end up in that situation, like those people who like to date OnlyFans girls, I could tell you, hey, do you? But again, that's not going to last. So asking inappropriate questions, yeah, you really want to ask them the kind of questions that benefits your understanding of, is this person valuable to you? If you're asking off the wall, dumbass questions that is not going to give you a better understanding of the other person, dark humor kind of questions where you're not really showing that you're genuinely interested in getting to know this other person, you are asking the wrong questions. So not showing genuine interest in them and their lives on the first few dates is definitely going to cause you to have some epic failure. And lacking social skills and ability to read nonverbal cues is also going to be a communication barrier. So while you're being clear about your intentions and expectations early on in your interactions, you want to make sure that you're asking questions on the first and second dates to understand what the other person is looking for from you while you're understanding if they're willing to fulfill your expectations of them. You want to avoid excessive texting before you meet them. You want to avoid utilizing your cell phone while you're engaging them in person. You want to avoid excessive texting them after the fact. You really want to start playing towards verbal communication, talking to each other through video chats or phone calls, and navigate away from text messages because that's too impersonal. Navigate away from DMing each other because that's too impersonal. Once you guys start meeting each other in person and engaging in person, you want to start doing the closest thing to in-person interactions. And if that means video communication, that's what you do. And if you don't have a good video signal to do video communication, that's when you start doing audio communication. And you only end up in situations with text messages when you don't have the capabilities to invest the time in the video communication or the audio communication, like passing a message to the other person while you're at work or receiving a message from the other person short notice while they're at work. That's it. Practice active listening and engaging in conversations. Learn to read social cues and body language and become comfortable in social situations. While you're setting these non-negotiable expectations for behavior, you want to establish and maintain healthy boundaries from them and also maintain expectations of behavior from them. There you go. Be upfront if something is bothering you and don't hold back on your expectations. But being nitpicky is not a thing. For parents, agree on rules about introducing the children to the dates. Because if you've got a kid or if she's got a kid, you're back. What happened, buddy? Is everything going well? Did you get the right response? Marco, what's good, Marco? Sipping on that. He got the coffee, midnight drinks. Hey, I gotta tell you, this is one of those things that we're gonna change 2025, fellas. We're gonna change it. I got a lot of stuff to drink here. Got me a glass of wine, cup of coffee. Got a lot of stuff going on here. But yeah, we were talking about making sure that you guys are factoring in when is it a good time to introduce the children to the date. And this is going to be because you don't want the kids to know that each individual person that you're dating, because not all dates work out. But when you recognize that the date is going to work out, that's when you start recognizing that the children have to be involved. He said, I told all these things. Parents looked at each other and smiled. See, there you go. That's good. That's good. He took my advice today. He's coming back to let me know that it all worked out for the best. That is awesome. And I'm glad that they were happy about that and not angry. So, maybe they can like us, subscribe and join the membership as well. And I can give them some advice about spicing up their marriage where they can remember why they got together many, many moons ago. Because I can tell you that, a lot of people say that you got to be either dating or married to give really good advice. And I'm going to be honest with you that the truth is that the people who have the best advice are the people who have had the most experience with catastrophic failure. The individuals who know what not to do have done that. The individuals who know what to avoid have experienced catastrophic failure from not avoiding that. Those individuals who know what, because people who are successful in something don't know what it's like to fail. People who fail at something and try again, those are the people who know how to overcome obstacles. Somebody who can develop a master plan and provide that to you where you're just like, oh yeah, we can follow this plan. That plan doesn't work for everybody, but the person who can give you advice on how to improvise, that's the person who's been through some stuff and is able to navigate around that stuff. You got to think about it like this. A person who's calm in disaster has clearly been in more catastrophic situations. That's why this doesn't bother that person. An individual that has never been in a disaster is freaking out right now because they don't know how to handle this disaster. That's one of the reasons why you got to go to somebody who's been through it. That way they can tell you about it. Don't have to be in a relationship today to tell you how relationships suck. And don't have to be married today to tell you that some of the decisions that you're making could cause you to not be married also. He said the girl today morning only asked whether I am out for a vacation for a short picnic, and I didn't reply. What's the best reply? Well, if you're trying to go out with her for a short picnic, I would tell you to suggest the picnic, because a picnic is better than going off on a long drawn vacation with the person. Because a picnic, you can go to the park. You guys can bring some snacks, a couple sandwiches, a couple drinks, and then and for you guys, it'd be like sodas, waters, stuff like that. Nothing dairy, because if you're going to be outside for a long period of time, that stuff is going to get hot and spoil. So you want to do stuff that can get warm. If you can bring you a little ice chest and keep it chilled, that would be even better. And then finger foods, chips, sandwiches, stuff to that effect, and some type of sheet or a blanket or something like that your family doesn't readily use. If you don't have like beach towels and stuff like that you can use, and you guys can just go into the park, that's free, and you guys can get out there and have your picnic. If you can see some water, that's fantastic. You guys can use a picnic table, that's just as good, and you could push each other on the swing and stuff to that effect. And that works at every age. I'm going to be honest with you. That works at every age. And it is simple. It is simple. And it is affordable. And it is effective, because primarily you're focusing on each other. You're talking to each other. And then you guys can she will learn some chess from you. See, now there you go. You like chess. She values you. She's valuing your interests. She's going to want to play chess with you. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. People don't like to lose 100% of the time. So what my mother used to tell me to do is 8 out of 10 games. So I'm going to throw 2 games to make you feel good before I crush you. When you start talking trash, I'm going to have to go undefeated on you, but I'm going to let them win a couple times so that I'm not always winning, because if I win 100% of the time, they're never going to want to play. So if you're teaching her how to play, you show her how to play with you. Also, your generation are gamers. So y'all don't just play chess, y'all play video games too. Instead of competing against one another, and this works in every age as well, instead of competing against your partner all the time, do games and activities where you guys are working together as a team, because that builds companionship, that builds partnership. If you're doing a co-op game instead of a counter-op game, you guys are working together to win the game. So when you win, she wins, and y'all can celebrate together. If Apex, Halo, Call of Duty, Perfect Dark, 007, whatever you guys want to do, you're working together. You got Mario Kart with the teams, the 2-on-2 teams, where one of you was in the back and the other was in the front. Y'all switch drivers. All of these things, y'all can work together. Y'all could get on GTA and start a faction and work together. You could get on the same team with Madden. What is the other ones? They have the NHL, WWE, Raw and SmackDown. You could do tag team matches, any type of activity where you guys are working together for the same victory will aid you guys in being able to build strong bonds and strong connections. And if you're teaching her all the ways to win with you, you can catch the right side, she could catch the left side, and y'all can be like a unstoppable duo. And it every time she helps you win and every time you help her win, it strengthens the relationship. But if you guys are always competing against each other, the competitive edge could cause a rift, and one of you will be sad while the other one is happy, and that dynamic is going to shift back and forth, but you're never both going to be happy at the same time if you're both competitive. So you want to be competitive as a team, where it's the two of you against everybody else, so that you're either both happy because you won, or you're both disappointed because y'all didn't win. But try to not blame her when you don't win, because that's going to make her not want to play anymore. So think about that. Now, you guys want to make sure that you focus on personal growth. If you're improving your physical fitness and grooming, you want to make sure that you're continuing to advance your education and careers. But ladies, I want you guys to remember that while you ladies believe that your expectations for a man is what men expect from a woman, that is not the same. So ladies, while it is understood that you're supposed to have a reasonable level of common knowledge, it's probably somewhere to the magnitude of a high school diploma. So we're not looking at the idea of you having to have a PhD in life in order to be considered equal to a man. So getting a bachelor's degree is not going to make you more desirable to a man, and being a Fortune 500 woman is not going to be desirable to a man, because your education and your wealth does not define him, because he's expected to teach you something and he's expected to provide for you. So that makes it he said, I'm told I'm free. Excellent. Take action. Try to set something up. Try to set something up. So try to arrange a get together, a hangout, and start working on. You can do intro levels of chess, and you don't have to explain the history of chess. Just show her how to move the pieces around and get straight into the game. Like, play the game with her as you tell her how to move the pieces around. Because if you spend too much time explaining the game, it's going to get boring. Look at it. He's succeeding as we go, guys. He is succeeding as we go. I'm proud of you. That is awesome. I am proud of you, Ruderus. I am proud of you. Get in there. Let's go. Woo! If I had some champagne left, I would pop some bottles. Now, remember, guys, you want to cultivate confidence and a positive mindset. So just like Ruderus, you always want to hope for the best, expect the worst, and take whatever happens in between. Now, with your first date etiquette, you guys want to choose a relaxed setting that allows you guys to conversate. So you're not trying to take individuals on first dates. Hey, man, you're welcome. It's what I do. I do the best that I can for you guys on this and that. That's why we spend half of the week talking about business and finance, and the other half of the week talking about social interactions, dating, and relationship topics, social inequalities and stuff, because it all comes together eventually. And if you put just a little bit of effort in watching my show on a daily basis and taking some of my advice and applying it to your daily life, I can guarantee you're going to see some changes and improvements. It takes catastrophic failure to learn from catastrophic failure, and mentorship takes the best of the best who has overcome the rest and is still standing and striving to teach those who have not been there yet what they can do to get to success without having to go through all the failure. And that's going to be the difference in the style of show that I do versus a seminar that makes you pay for it, or some of those red pill, black pill, blue pill, green pill, yellow pill podcasts that's just complaining about a one-sided scenario. I'm not going to just bring you a problem. I'm going to tell you how things should have changed, but we just allow it to be the way it is, and we chose not to change. But I'm going to tell you how you could have changed it and what you can start doing to make things better for you, because at the end of the day, life is not supposed to be miserable. We are supposed to be building memories. The memories that we build are supposed to be based off of the efforts that we put into ourselves. So if we don't like our situation, we're the first person to blame for that. But we like to blame everyone else because we don't like to have responsibility and accountability in our own actions. So I appreciate you also, Ruderus. He says, yeah, you helped me a lot in my daily life. shout out to this and that. So I really appreciate you, buddy. And guys, as y'all keep popping in, make sure that y'all like and subscribe. Keep hitting those heart buttons and everything on the thing, because I know that we're rolling through the shorts feeds right now. But yeah, we're trying to help you guys with being a better you all the way across the board. If we help you improve your decision-making processes in your social life will not interfere with your business life. We help you with making better decision-making in your business life is not catastrophic. If we're helping you find work-life balance where you are prioritizing the ability to make more money from business so that you can work less in business to have more time to prioritize the people in your life, then you will be more successful at both. Because if you're getting paid by the hour and that is the best that you got going for you, you got to put in a certain quantity of hours in order to be financially successful. And that quantity of hours plus sleep is going to take away from the time that you have to be with somebody else. And that's going to be an issue. There's a thing called marrying the job that people don't think about, where you give 80 to 90% of your life to your job outside of sleep, and you don't have time for a social life. You don't have time for a relationship. You want one, you might get married, but you're never home. And that's going to be the issue where you end up not having a successful relationship. But if you're investing, if you're having other entrepreneurial things going where you start becoming more successful in other areas in life, you are able to then bring back enough financial success to say now's a good time to do 50% on the job or 75% on the job, and I can spend 25% more of my time with the people that matter to me. That's what we try to aim for on this show. So one of the things that you guys got to remember is while you're out there engaging other people, put your phone away. Focus on the person that is right there in front of you. Unless there is an emergency, you should not be checking your social media status. You should not be checking the progress on your video game. You should not be updating anything that has anything to do with not the person across the table from you. You want to make sure that you're talking to that person that you are there to see, because that's the reason why you two are there, for each other. So if it's not happening right there in front of you, it's not happening. You want to also avoid oversharing personal information or discussing about your exes. You don't want to say too many negative things about yourself, because that starts building too many red flags for the other person before they can get involved with you heavily. You want to tell them enough about you surface level where they understand your operation and to the magnitude of how they're going to fit into it. Levels of security clearance. You want to make sure that they have just enough intro level security clearance to know when to show up and how much time that you have available to invest in them. Beyond that, they have to earn more knowledge and more information by their presence, their actions, their behaviors. You understand? Now, you want to make sure that the follow-up protocol for dating is setting clear goals in your relationship. You want to commit to dating practices with regular effort. So you guys want to see each other a couple times a week. You want to make sure that a couple times a week, even if it's free, even if one time I'm going to come to you and the other time you're going to come to me, but we're going to see each other every week. You guys want to build that consistency. Even if you guys work full-time jobs, you got 1 or 2 days off a week. You want to make sure that 1 or 2 days off a week that you guys are with each other, just hanging out. If nothing else, play some cards. They got the deck of cards that I had gotten from one of the promos with the dating assassin card game, where this is like 150 cards, and I got links to the dating assassin site that you guys can get this. That's like a $20 deck of cards where it's 150 in-depth personal cards that you guys can utilize that would definitely be entertaining for you to really get to understand your partner without talking about the exes and past relationships that did not work out. Remember that you want to be patient and persistent in your searches. And if you're interested, message after the date to express interest. That's it. You're not trying to play a waiting game. You're not like, oh, well, I'm going to wait 3 days and then I'm going to contact them. You want to let them know right now that you are interested in a follow-up. Don't play those waiting games. And also avoid appearing too eager. You don't want to rush into something else. You want to just set yourself up for the opportunity to meet them later on in the week. I can understand situations where I thought 2 or 3 days was too soon. I should have contacted the person right after I got off from work and let them know that I'm interested in talking to them later in the week. I missed my opportunity as a result. These things happen. You want to make sure that you take great consideration to finances. Who pays remains a debate topic, but the options include the person who asked to pay, splitting the bill, or alternating. And since men are expected to pay, that means that 2/3 of this option is men are going to be paying. But if you're in a situation where you're doing things that don't cost, since you're expecting to pay, you're going to pay less more often instead of paying more less often, which means you get to spend more time with this individual for the same quantity of money that you would have done trying to impress them the entire time. Now, you want to make sure that you trust your instincts and continue to keep a ready eye for those red flags. You want to inform someone of your whereabouts when meeting new people, because men and women alike can get hurt, set up, kidnapped, and other such situations. And you want to make sure that somebody that you know where you're going, how long you plan on being there, and what route you plan on taking when you're heading over there. Because if you never make it to your destination, I said this earlier this week, as an adult, it takes 72 hours for law enforcement to decide to start looking for you. If something bad happens to you, you are going to be in that situation for 3 days if you survive it before the police start looking for you. Anybody who you matter to will start looking for you within the first couple of hours, the first 6 to 12 hours. The more you check in with the people that matter to you, the sooner they will know something's wrong. The sooner they will be able to follow up to make sure that you're safe. The quicker they can respond to your last known whereabouts, which means the quicker that they can identify law enforcement that there really is something wrong, because they found the vehicle that you were in and it's abandoned. They see blood at the scene. They see these clues that would not have been spotted if nobody knew where you was. They didn't know who you was with. You don't know what's going on. The people that matter to you most need to be your emergency contact. So if a situation, and your emergency contact isn't necessarily the emergency contact that you're telling the hospital, yeah, that would be fantastic, but it's the list of people in your cell phone that are tagged as emergency contact numbers. And how that works is that if there is an emergency, there's a button that you push on your phone, and then in that button, there's a list of emergency contacts that will pop up when you hold that button. And then those people will be notified directly from your phone, where and it's a SOS feature on everybody's cell phone. And if you did that, you have select individuals where sometimes it's a double tapping the power button or holding the power button for a certain period of time or something to that effect. These features that will automatically send an SOS signal to everybody that is in your emergency contact list, not your contact list, your emergency contact list, which that feature, and I've used that feature before. It's actually pretty cool. If you do it right, that feature will notify them 2 or 3 times in a 15-minute radius, give your location 2 or 3 times in a 15-minute radius, which shows which direction you were traveling. That gives them the ability to go to your last known GPS signal with a GPS tracker to your last known GPS signal to go over there and try to pull you out of a bind. Now, that is the next best thing to dialing 911, 119, 112, or all the other emergency numbers that you could potentially dial to be on hold and wait 45 minutes for law enforcement to respond, when you could just double tap your cell phone and one of your closest homeboys can redirect their attention to get into your location. Also, if you have the type of connection with the people that are in your network where you guys are working that type of emergency response scenario down, you can work that with your family, your parents, stuff to that effect. So when stuff goes wrong, they can notify you to don't go home because it's not safe there. All of these things that prevent you guys from dealing with I didn't know situations and scenarios where that leads individuals into not only getting hurt or staying in danger where they could end up getting hurt if they aren't already hurt. Now, so ladies, check in with your boyfriends and your husbands. Whether you like it or not, that is the best way to be safe. And if you have the type of relationship where you check in with him as much as he checks in with you, instead of you having to stalk him with a GPS tracker, he'll just tell you voluntarily where he's at and where he's going and who he's going with. And you're going to do the same. And likewise, he ain't going nowhere with nobody that's you're not going to approve of, because he doesn't want to have to deal with the arguing and fussing. So you end up with first person accountability by being transparent about your whereabouts. You also start developing more loyalty, because if I can't tell you where I'm going and who I'm going with, I probably shouldn't be going there with that person. It is what it is. Mindset matters. Now, approach dating with an open and optimistic mindset, but be prepared for rejection as men, because it is a normal part of the process. And it is a very, very high probability, 80 to 90% of the time, that men are going to get rejected. And the older men get and the less financially successful men are, the more often the men will be rejected. Now, bring your genuine self to the date no matter what you do, and you're going to provide stability and emotional presence while you are there. You are going to continue to show interest in getting to know your date, and recognize that the chemistry is important, but not everything. You want to balance being nice with being assertive and confident. And that's why I tell you to stand on your non-negotiable expectations for behavior, because while you will be respectful and you will be reasonably appropriate in this situation, you will respectfully request with confidence that they not behave in certain ways, or inform them that you are not approving of certain behavior characteristics and behavior types, because that will lead to negative outcomes in further engagement. Focus on creating an emotional connection. And these things will lead you to an era of success, because guys have also often focused much too much on physical aspects of attraction, and they have the ability to think that if they can just get a girl to like them physically, that they're all set. That's not true. Women want financial security. They don't care what you look like. You could be Quasimodo if you're rich. Look at Flavor Flav. All the women that he got, he ugly as hell. But the fact is that because he got money, he got women. You know, some attractive men can get a girl, but they're not going to keep a girl, because the women are there for entertainment. And when she's looking for financial stability, he doesn't have financial stability. The friends with benefits phase will phase out, especially when she starts having bills to pay, and they're going to grow apart. So attraction is a level of the foundations of commitment, but attraction is not it. There's so much more to the foundation of the relationship. It is more deeper than that. So you have to remember that it's about that emotional connection and the shared values and an intellectual compatibility. Because if they're not smart enough, and women believe that they have to have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree to be smart enough to be with the man, you don't. You just need to have you some street smarts and some common sense, and you'll be fine. Because men are willing to travel the world and get women with different vocabularies, different languages, where the language barrier is the difference in understanding between each other. And the men are patient with that language barrier. So if y'all speak the same language, you got one over the women that don't speak English with a man that speaks English, but he's willing to date a woman that doesn't speak English because she will cooperate in spite the language gap. Where some women that speak English don't want to cooperate, and they speak the same language. And finally, many guys are afraid to be vulnerable. Guys, we're going to have to put ourselves on the table in minimalistic levels, because men think that showing their true feelings or emotions will make them appear weak. As JP said earlier, or DJ said earlier, that it's weak to play chicken with your feelings. That's not true. It's not really weak, but it will sabotage your success if you do it too quickly. In reality, vulnerability is a major turn on for women. But building successful relationships requires a combination of skill, mindset shifts, and a deep understanding of what women really want. It starts with confidence. And when you're confident in who you are and what you bring to the table, you're more attractive to others. It is also about communication skills. He said, I have to get a gift for you. I was like, what? There you go. Yeah, I got to tell you right now, friendship bracelet, best way to start. It's cheap. You can get one that's like $5. $10. It could be stainless steel, sterling silver. It doesn't have to be all that expensive. But the reason why a friendship bracelet is the best way to go is because it is the gift that keeps giving. Because after you get the bracelet, everything that follows that is an additional charm that you add to the bracelet. And once you have no more space on that bracelet, you get her another bracelet. Now, that's freaking better than a promise ring. It's better than an engagement ring. And the reason being is because each trinket on the friendship bracelet should resemble a memorable moment in your relationship. And a lot of times you can get custom made trinkets for the friendship bracelet outside of the generic ones that you can buy on Walmart, Temu, Amazon. They have friendship bracelet stores that sells accessories. I actually think I have one person that I was supposed to be doing affiliate branding with that actually has an entire website about handmade friendship bracelet trinkets and stuff to that effect. That this is something that girls love, especially teenage to like 30. So friendship bracelet, best way to go. And you can build up to the whole I love you thing. And it's very cheap. It's very cheap. It's something that you can get that you don't have to get real gold. You don't have to get platinum because those are like a couple $100. But you could get one that's like $5, $10, $20 that's got a few bracelets on it. Or you could get one that has nothing on it and then and those are like $2, $3 because it's just a bracelet. And then you just get the little trinkets that you add to it. And that is going to give you a whole lot more success going forward than going and buying them a necklace or earrings and all this, because they're never going to take that. They're never going to wear that stuff. But the friendship bracelet, they'll never take that off. And you can do the friendship bracelet that goes on the wrist. You can also do the friendship bracelet that goes on the ankle. If they are allergic to silver, you can get an anklet. And they could put that on top of their socks. That way the stainless steel or sterling silver doesn't cause them skin irritation instead of putting it on their wrist. But they're still never going to take it off. And girls very rarely wear pants all the way down to their ankles, so that you'll always see it right next to the shoe, which stands out. And it's cheaper than buying them clothes and shoes and other stuff. You got to start off simple, bro, because I'm going to tell you, the longer that you're in a relationship, you have to capitalize on your efforts by doing more. So you don't want to start at the top and work your way down. Women aren't going to appreciate that. If you start at the bottom doing simple shit and work your way up, the more valuable she is, the more value in the investment that you give to her to show her the validation. And you want to gradually grow up to those baby steps. And I'm pretty sure that I can piece together, because I think I did it about a year ago, the different stages. But I think like paper is like year 1, and then wood is year 2, and then like silver is and certain metals is year 3. It like really good. Like you don't even get to gold and diamonds and expensive jewelry until like year 5. You know what I'm saying? And wedding rings and engagement rings are supposed to happen somewhere between 5 and 10 years. So your first few months is supposed to be simple stuff, paper mache, arts and crafts kind of stuff. That's more personal than a Hallmark card. Just try to be creative with it. I said before, we were doing a show like 4 or 5 months ago where little cue cards, little flashcards, and little simple messages about how you appreciate them, value them, and think about them all the time. Those little bitty cue cards, you can just write little short like notes that validate them, and then slip it in her backpack while she's not looking. Stick it in her pocket while she's not looking, leave it at her desk so that when she goes into her desk, you'll find it, stuff to that effect, where everywhere she goes, she'll get a message from you while you're not there, so that she knows that you're thinking about her while you're not there. Those are the little things that you can do. That piece of paper, that stack of cue cards might cost you $2, and you get like 500 of them. And then the pencil, you get a 2-pack, and that might cost you $2 more. It's $5 to give her messages for the rest of the year. And she'll love you forever. I'm telling you, these are the ways that we don't think as men, the simple things in life that go further with women than expensive, lavish gifts. Validating her existence more often to the magnitude that she'll start expecting them. And then when they stop coming, she's like, well, you haven't been leaving me. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have to get mad and tell her that you're mad at her. You could just not send her a cue card today and she'll automatically think you hate her. Like, that's the simplicity of constant validation from simplistic, discreet communication. And Rita says, very true, bro. I also told I have a gift for her, a gift for you as well. And she's still, I have not bought anything, bro. Yeah, you ain't got to worry about it. Now you know what you can get, because Valentine's Day is like 2 weeks from now. You can buy something online right now that's next day delivery. If your parents got Amazon Prime, it can get here by Monday. You can bring it to her school on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Or you can walk down to the nearest store and go and pick something up. It's not that serious. And when you start talking about the cue cards and stuff like that, you can go to your nearest Staples or Office Depot, or go to the school supply section of your local Walmart and pick that same stuff up. A pack of cue cards with the lines on it, the white cue cards with the lines on it, or the color pack. If she's got a favorite color that she likes, you can get the color pack of cue cards. That way you can write certain messages in her favorite color. That goes even further. And then again, fold them up, and you can even learn some origami, fold them up, and then put little like doves and flowers and stuff like that in origami in her desk, or in her backpack, or in her purse, or in her back pocket, or just hand it to her as you walk away, kind of thing, or hand it to her as you walk up, and these little ways where you can just find little nifty ways to validate her existence. Yeah, and never once do you have to tell her that you love her, but the fact that you're validating her so often, she already knows. And that way, her reciprocation of that is going to be most effective. So just take that under consideration. Because just as I was about to tell everybody, is that we have to remember that communication is one of the skills that we lack in dating, and being able to effectively communicate your desires, needs, and feelings is crucial in any relationship, whether it is a friendship, whether it is a partnership, a business engagement, or a romantic relationship. Relationships with family requires the same type of communication as every other type of relationship. The only difference is the outcome and expectations that we hold for each type of relationship and each type of engagement that requires communication. So understanding women's perspectives is going to be the key to aiding you in more success. When you can see things from their point of view, you're better equipped to build a connection with them. And likewise, ladies, if you can see things from a man's point of view, then you will be able to better connect with the man that you are trying to formulate a bond with, because that will doing things from the receiver's perspective. Because think about interactions as first person delivering a message to the receiver, the person that you are expressing yourself to. And it is not about the person delivering the message. It's about how the person receives the message. If they don't receive the message the way you intended them to, they're going to get the wrong idea, and you guys are going to have a breakdown in communication. But if you make sure that you pay attention to how they receive communication, how they receive the type of message you want to deliver, then you can focus on delivering it to them that way, so that they will be able to recognize the message the way you want them to recognize it. Like the author of a book, they write the book for the sake of the reader, not for the arrogance and attitude and ideology of the writer. The writer is writing for the reader. You are delivering yourself to the other person in your relationship, communicating with the other person in your relationship for them to receive the information you're trying to provide to them. So that is one of the reasons why it is better to work in that fashion. Rudera says, I'm kind of shy type. So how to be like bold, like she wants to keep talking, but I somehow manage to end the conversation. A lot of the times if she really likes you, she's going to keep talking. You can ask questions. If you don't already know everything about her, you can ask more questions about her. You can find out a lot of the things that men typically do standard is ask a woman what she likes and what she wants and everything to that effect. But truthfully, Because a lot of the times they don't really, the women don't even know what they want more often than not. But if you are developing a bucket list of things to do and places to go that are within your budget, you can talk to her about places to go, things to do, activities to accomplish in life, not just necessarily like, oh, what do you want us to do this week kind of thing. Like, if there was a place that you wanted to go or an activity that you wanted to do, what would that be? Open-ended questions. Let her talk to you. And then you acknowledge the fact that she is talking to you by responding to her with understanding. People say that if you repeat what the other person told you as you continue to talk, that it shows that you're listening. It does not. My students do that all the time. Like if I ask them a question and they respond to my question by restating my question, it shows me they weren't listening, that they're not paying attention. I'm not going to take that as they're thinking about it, because I'll ask the question 3 different ways and they only repeated it correctly once. The fact is that you're not listening. So if they are responding, if you ask them a question and they give you an open-ended response, the ability to actively listen to what they're saying is to then reply to what they said with emphasis on what they were talking about. So if you asked her about an activity that she liked to do and she talked about the picnic, now you're talking about picnic related stuff. That way, you're showing her that you understand what she's talking about. She says, like, how did you come first this time? My reply, I don't know. How are you so good at chess? My reply, I don't know. Oh, so she's look, so this is the thing. If she's asking you, how did you win? How did you come in first place this time? The strategy that you use to win the game. That's what you're telling her. She's asking you, how did you become so good at chess? You practice. That's how you got you've got mentors that you've worked with. You've got individuals that you learn from. You may have watched some YouTube videos from chess players that play chess better than you. You may have read some chess strategy guides. There are magazines out there that's all about chess moves and chess players. Like there, so depending upon how deep you are into chess, so she's really trying to connect to you on the level of your interest. And I mean, how you got there. Like you won that game because you seen that they made a mistake like 5 turns ago and you took advantage of that and moved in certain places and you beat the person. You're as good as you are because you're always playing people better than you. You do lose, but you win more than you lose because you pay attention to what your opponent's doing. You have a lot of practice. You might play 10 or 20 games a day online. And then you might also play 5 or 6 games a day in person. You might be in a chess club at your school. There's a lot more that you can answer about that type of question. I know that you're shy, so you're not used to getting attention. But if you're passionate about chess, talk to her about chess. Tell her everything you know about chess. If she's willing to listen, that shows that you're important to her, because she's not interested in chess. She's interested in you. He said, I tell this to my boys, all the things I don't know. I feel like why girls know I am telling anything her. That's my feelings. I have to work on it. Well, look, you said she's somewhat of a friend. So if you talk to her about chess the way you talk to your homeboys about chess, you'll start naturally building confidence and communicating with her. That way you don't have to. So because again, this isn't about you guys hooking up or anything like that. You're trying to find you a buddy that you're trying to stick with for a long period of time. So you guys got the rest of your futures together to figure out what you're going to do next. Today, you guys are dealing with setting up Valentine's Day, her learning how to play chess, and you building a connection with her. So, talk to her like she's one of the homeboys. You being comfortable with being around her is going to make her feel comfortable around you. Even if you're subconsciously awkward about it, even if you are scared and nervous and your palms are sweaty, knees weak, we go into that Eminem rap. If you're doing that subconsciously, the fact is that outwardly you're talking to her like she's one of your homeboys. So she's not going to feel rejected by the fact that you're not talking to her. So go back out there and explain to her. Go back and explain to her how much, explain to her how you won that game. Go back and explain to her how you got so good. Explain to her like what he says. I cannot talk much with like girls. Though she is a friend, I don't know how I can express it, bro. That's because you like her. Because if you didn't like her, you would talk to her like the way you talk to your teacher. You ain't got a problem with talking to your mom. You got something to lose because you're interested in this female. That's the reason why you're scared about what you don't want to say the wrong thing. That's your concern. You're subconscious about saying the wrong thing. The truth is that you can't say the wrong thing when you have good intentions in your conversations with her. She's asking you about your interests. She's not asking you about your intentions with her. So since she's asking you about your interests, you are going to tell her truthfully about your interests in chess. You're going to tell her truthfully about your skills. You're going to tell her you said you were going to teach her how to play chess. You're going to talk to her like a teacher, like a mentor, like a senpai. You're not going to talk down to her, but I mean, you're going to guide her, mold her. She might get good. She might start beating you. Then you're going to be like, oh, hey, how did you get so good? How did you beat me? Her first compliment is, I had a good teacher, which is complimenting you because you taught her how to play. But if she learned how to do some stuff that you didn't know how to do, she got that from somewhere. So you got to remember, it's not about, so men believe that they have to win the girl's heart from the gate. That is not true. You win the girl's heart from consistency. You win the girl's heart from dedication and honesty and a little bit of transparency. So if you are consistently recognizing her attempts to meet you on your level, because she's not chess, you're chess. She's going to learn to play chess so that she can be with you. So that means that she is, by asking you questions about your passions, she is showing you that she's interested in you. All you got to do is let her in. That ain't even hard to do. You just let her in. It's so much more of a different dynamic than you being a gamer. She likes to read books and she wants you to get off the game so that you can give her attention while she's reading a book. That is harder to convince her that right now, in the middle of this online gameplay that you have, that there is no save point. You can't stop here. You're going to fail, mess up your stats. You're going to lose the mission to get off the game and give her undivided attention right now. She's got to let you finish what you started so that you can get off the game and go deal with her later. That's harder to deal with. If she's interested in you, she's interested in your chess because you're interested in chess. That's easy. Just let her in. Just let her in. Talk to her the way you talk to the other people that play chess. Talk to her the way you talk to people who don't know how to play chess when you're trying to teach them how to play chess, because she's not the only person you tried to teach how to play chess. And let it come naturally. If you let it come naturally, that's when things will work in your favor. That's why I know, like, people are like, oh, well, who are you dating for you to be telling me this? Look, if you dive into a relationship too fast, it ends fast. I could be dating 3 people right now. I could be dating 1. I could be married. The advice is not going to change. The fact is that if you take it slow, the slower you allow this to progress so that the other person is comfortable with the scenario before you try to progress it further, the more stable the scenario will be. The more stable the scenario is, the more likelihood that you have a long-term companionship. And that long-term companionship could end up with a relationship that could be a lifelong partnership, that could end up with a marriage, that y'all could be like y'all met as kids and y'all still together at 50 kind of situation. But the older you get, the harder it is to find that kind of connection, because it takes that met her at 14, 15 years old in middle school kind of thing, junior high school thing, and work your way up to the 40, 50 years old, we all have been around each other for 20 years. At 40 years old, you're finding somebody who retired out of the game, and you're trying not to deal with a crash out situation. And Rudua says, I'll be back tomorrow and tell you what happened. Hey, I really appreciate it, man. I'm going to be here. We're doing the members only thing. We're doing questions and comments. So we're going to be doing reactions all afternoon. So when you dive in, you can dive right in with the outcome of this particular situation. I would expect it to be positive. But again, take it slow. Don't have expectations. Just be yourself. Continue to be yourself. And just genuinely open up. Just genuinely open up. Being vulnerable is a good thing. Telling her the things that you like is a good thing. And then give her the opportunity to tell you things about her that she likes, so that you can, that's going to be one of the things that you can do to show her that you're paying attention to her, is when you find out the things that she likes, you can put that together over time and then present that to her as a gift. For example, if she likes playing music, she's got a specific music instrument, you can buy her equipment to maintenance that instrument. You could, if she doesn't have the instrument, you can get her the instrument. If she likes to write, you can get her a custom journal, stuff to that effect. If you're listening to what she likes, then you can get involved with what she likes by providing her with what she likes. And her finding out what you like, she's going to get involved with what you like. And that is how you're able to build together, by doing what your partner likes to do. You're showing them validation and interest in them. And then reciprocation is finding out what they like to do. And then some of the times she's doing what you like, some of the times you're doing what she like, but y'all are both liking what you're doing because you're doing it together. That is how you guys make a relationship successful. As he says, shout out to this and that. We really appreciate you, brother. Really appreciate you. You've been with us. Mr. Pibbs has been working double shifts all over the place for a while, so he hasn't been on the show, but I'll definitely let him know that you have been passing through and giving us shout outs. He might dive into the show one day. One more thing that we're going to cover, we got a few more things before we wrap things up, is that you can take your dating life to the next level, learning a lot of the stuff that I was just telling Ruderus, and utilizing active listening. So this means that you're going to be paying attention to what she's saying. You're both verbalizing and non-verbalizing and responding in ways that shows that you care about her and her interests, without actually coming out and telling her that you love her. And you're also going to remember that you are going to be open-minded and non-judgmental about whatever's going on in the situation. And ladies, if you take this advice, this will work well with you coming in contact with men and sticking with good men. Now, I'm not going to tell you about the toxic men, because the toxic men, that's a whole nother ball game. But when you find a person with potential and you're paying attention to his character, not his wallet, utilizing these same tools and tips will help you get and keep that man. And then you can mold him into the success that you want him to be. And he's going to share that success with you, because that's what men instinctively do. You don't have to look for a generous man. You have to look for a compassionate man, because a compassionate man is going to be generous. If you look for a rich man, he's going to be wasteful. That's not generous. It's a difference. You'll still get stuff from him, but he ain't going to care about you, which means that you're not validated. And that's going to be a problem for you. So take some of the advice that we've been giving Ruderus today, and by all means, we're going to see where this goes. So when you can approach dating with a sense of curiosity and adventure, you're more likely to attract someone who's a great match for you. And finally, it's about taking action, because you got to do something about it. You can't just think about it. You got to do something about it. Instead of waiting for opportunities to present themselves, you have to create opportunities on your own. And it is not going to be convenient. It is just going to happen. That is where hopeless romantics come from. You are creating the opportunity. You're not waiting for the right time. You are the right time. You just have to do it. Ask her out, plan a fun date, and take the lead in a relationship, just like we talked about this afternoon. The most crucial insight that can significantly improve dating success is understanding that it's not just about you. It's about her. And ladies, you got to remember that it's not just about you. It's about him. So when you focus on what you can give to a relationship rather than what you can get, everything shifts. Never forget to observe what they have to offer the relationship as well. You start to see yourself as a provider of value rather than a seeker of validation. This mindset from both parties can completely flip the script on your dating life and attract higher quality people for the men and the women in their lives. So it's about being a giver rather than a taker. And when you make this shift, you'll start to see dramatic results. By focusing on what you can bring to the table, you'll start to attract those women who are drawn to your confidence, your sense of purpose, and your generosity. You will start to build meaningful relationships that are based on mutual respect and admiration rather than just physical attraction. And you'll start to see dating as an opportunity to grow and learn rather than just a way to get validation. So, as we talk about cracking the code to dating success, you have to remember that this requires a combination of confidence, communication, and a deep understanding of what women really want. It's about approaching dating with a sense of curiosity and adventure and focusing on what you can give to the relationship rather than just what you can get out of this engagement. While these guidelines offer a framework, it's important to remember that there's no one size fits all approach to dating. The most critical rule is to be authentic, respectful, and open to genuine connection. Nevertheless, by avoiding common pitfalls and focusing on personal development and authentic connections, men can significantly improve their dating success. So remember, is a dating is a skill that can be learned and improved with practice and the right mindset. If you guys have any questions or experiences that you'd like to share, please leave comments in the comment section down below. You guys can send me some messages after the show. And if you guys want to learn more about building successful relationships, you guys can check out some of the dating videos that we have coming up, because tomorrow is our members only show that's open up to the public. From 10 o'clock Central Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock California time. And we're also going to be doing more of the relationship topics on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next week. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to be doing at the exact same time discussions about business and finance so that we can build our wealth so that we have money to go out on dates. I want to really appreciate you guys for watching the show tonight. I wish Ruderus the most luck on his date tonight, because he's going to be putting some of my advice to action, and we're going to see how well he succeeds with that. Special shout out to Red Void from Twitch. I see you there. This is one of the things that we have been working on, because as a matter of fact, Ruderus is one of the people that we helped with his dating life as well. So we're starting to build a larger platform of helping everybody get their relationships on track the way they want them to. And that's always been my thing. We're going to make you guys financially successful so that you can afford to support the family that you're trying to build. And we're going to give you better advice on how to build the right family that is better for you. So we really appreciate you guys coming to the show. As we say on a regular basis, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to please make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And fellas, at almost 75% of the podcast, because we're growing in numbers, we got the women. I think 30% of the women started showing up to the show as of recent. So, fellas, we really appreciate you for making us who we are. Thank you guys again for coming to this and that. Special shout out to Romania, Brazil, Vietnam, and Russia. California still burning to the ground. So special shout out to them because they are still heavy. California, Texas, still two of the top two states that's watching us in the United States. 45% of our podcast is in the United States. So we really appreciate you guys coming to this and that. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground! My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.